really easy most of the time. Speaking of specialists and their heroes, Miero and the Lycan, we cast that earlier in the tournament, you and I, him playing a game of that. He's very strong on this hero. He had the same offlaner to offlane matchup in that game as well. He was playing against the Mars, where he ran into this awkward timing of just getting caught in the arena and then dying. We'll see if they can bypass that problem this time. My biggest concern for Falcons is honestly kind of like they talked on the panel. Do they have the damage? Yeah. Kunkka boat, Lifestealer, tanky hero, Lycan will be tanky. Lycan will get axed. I mean, Lifestealer is one thing. It's gonna be a wolf?
Yeah, I don't think...
The zombie wolf.
I don't... That was unnecessary. I don't think we're gonna see the Aether Lens on Amar this time. Just going out on a limb here, Cinder, and we'll see if that ends up being correct or not. He wasn't really able to... I feel like the BKB just came too late for him. And at that point, they were already down. I think maybe he went for it because they definitely won the laning stage. And he's just like, oh, it's another typical game for my team. You know, we just won the last tournament. We're going to be making it to the grand final surely in this one. We didn't lose a single series in the second group stage. I can afford to go for Aether Lens, and the BKB can just come after. A little bit greedy, but ends up biting him in the ass.
Yeah, I don't know how big of a...
Just agree with me for once.
I don't know how big a part of the loss was his items, though. I feel like it was like a...
That's just part of it.
It was more on a macro scale. His BKB would have maybe helped, but I think they still had the same issue, which was damage, right? So... whether he buys a BKB or a lens doesn't really...
So what you're saying is you want him to go the Deso build. Or the Rapier Brooch build.
I mean, for what it's worth, I actually think Deso would have worked better in the previous game than what he bought, but I think it's like an exceptionally difficult judgment call to make, and you could not have predicted that the game would go that way. It was specifically because they lost that one fight so horribly that Bedboom even got back in the game. So as much as we're talking about this, gotta remember Falcons were kind of running the show, and there's no saying that they can't do it again. However,
Amar getting
Amar is running to his grave.
To try to help out here shortly. Not going to be able to do it, though, as Toronto Tokyo's right click is enough. Amar takes a tumble as Toronto Tokyo gets the first blood on the Phoenix.
Is that the first time this tournament Amar's been first blooded?
It's the first time I remember, but as you know, my memory is very bad, so that means literally nothing, which means that me saying this is actually just a waste of everyone's time to listen to.
We've been talking about this one in our cast, that Crit and Amar have not lost a lane all tournament. And last game they also didn't, despite losing the game. I feel like they did very well in that lane with Terrorblade Mars. This time around could be their first lane loss, and it's not just them. The mid lane is going very poorly for Malrine, 15-4 against 7-1. So this is even worse than the Dragon Knight matchup was. And the Lycan top is doing great against Void, which that one I think is the most likely to go this way. Faceless Void does nothing to Lycan. You can't kill the wolves. He's going to overpower you with damage and get last hits more than you. And Mirana, you can try to poke the wolves a little bit, but there's always going to be the lion covering them and harassing you back. So this is a very healthy start for Bedboom.
We're going to see a Hex onto Snake. We'll leap away, though. Save continuing to get those right clicks off. But yeah, the Void, I don't know, the games that we've been casting, obviously, it's won a decent amount of games for sure, but it does feel like it just takes way too long. And from Falcon's perspective, just a little bit worried about the pacing, because we saw what Miero was able to do with Lycan, and pressure is just literally part of how you play this hero.
Yeah.
We'll see if he opts for the Helm type build. He did end up going Ags in the game that we watched. I think he went third item Ags, I want to say.
Yeah, and then they took a terrible fight and GG'd out. He ended up not biting anyone.
That's correct. But the game looked really good for a while, and a big part of it is because Miero was top net worth, like really early. As he forces Skeeter out, Snake Ink still pretty low. Save.
Save is playing
Force out the leap again.
Really well, by the way. It's all the little things. It's kind of difficult to go over it all, but all of his positioning, all of his trades and movements, I mean, he's actually destroying this lane as Lion. Taking full advantage of the fact that Faceless Void's absolute biggest weakness as a hero is the first few levels in lane. This doesn't offer anything, and he's really squeezing every advantage he can out of that against the Mirana with the help of the Wolves. So keep in mind, when you're playing Lycan in a lane against a matchup where you're inherently at an advantage, then you get to use the wolves to help your support. You don't need to use them to CS all the time. And the communication in this lane has been really good so far between the two of them. Amar will get out, but again, pressured out of lane.
Yeah, and he TP's back to actual base. A lot of times we see the tier 1, but he's going to have to walk all the way back. Crit does get a bounty rune, though.
All right, Toronto Tokyo will miss every single Fire Spirit, going for the Guinness World Record here. And he might even... Okay, if he also dies, then it would be extra tragic, but he does have a lot of wand charges, so I think he will be okay here against
Unless he
Crit.
forgets to pop it, of course, which we have seen, believe it or not. And, okay, pops the wand finally. We'll survive. No fails here today.
This is a worrisome last hit distribution for Falcons. This is unfamiliar territory. They have had a poor laning stage before, but I felt like the pacing in their lineup in that game was a little bit different. Malrine is going to have to come up big here on that Pango to solve some problems in the side lanes soon.
Are you surprised at all that Falcons, I mean, I know it's a totally different lineup, but they do remain with 2 of the same heroes. I feel like this is a team that, other than like these, you know, the Mars Razor types that they can flex to a high degree, I feel like they don't really pick the same thing every single time. So I'm a little surprised that they stuck with those picks. We'll see how they work out, though.
You mean the Pango specifically, then?
Yeah.
Because you're not surprised they pick Mars, right?
No. Like I said, it's just a pick.
I could see it. I feel like there might have been a better option than the Pango as well, but perhaps we're reaching the point of the tournament now where Falcons are getting a little bit figured out. That's not to say Malrine has a small hero pool, because he has plenty of options, but if you're making the other options unappealing with prior picks, you can definitely take a bit of advantage of it.
Nightfall. We're going to go for the same build in all likelihood. Armlet into Radiance, and then S and Y. And my eyes are on Amar if he switches anything up. We'll be getting this next bracelet, and we'll see if he goes for the Yules, which is definitely his standard.
Yeah.
I haven't really been seeing the Deso on any Mars lately, I feel like.
Nah.
I think the last one we saw was maybe Jabs early on in the tournament.
Oh, did he actually buy it once?
I think so.
Oh. I haven't seen a Mars game with Deso this tournament. That doesn't mean there wasn't one, but... Yeah, it's not popular by any means, and I also don't think it's a frequent build you should be buying, but I do think sometimes Miero is in trouble here.
Yep. Going for Miero, this would be a nice pick-off, and indeed it's going to go to Malrine as well, so rotation's certainly worth it. And they need it, because this Lycan can definitely get out of hand early. I mean, in terms of the farm, in terms of like the skiter Faceless Void, net worth-wise, relatively close to Miero as a result of this kill.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And we talked about the Faceless Void just having kind of a slow upstart in some respects. Typically, we'll go for that Maelstrom build-up. Malrine,
Radiant's
next rune,
is under attack.
Doesn't get it that time.
grabbed by GPK.
Got the amplify damage on the first one, but this time around it will be going the other way.
Do you prefer Kunkka as an offlaner or a mid, generally?
If I had to pigeonhole him into one role, I'd probably pick offlane, I think. Because this hero suffers hard if he loses lane mid. I think you run out of steam very fast. But obviously BetBoom are picking him when they know the matchups well. But if you had to pick it blindly, I think it's better to put it offlane on average, because even if you have a bit of a tough start, you can still offer some utility and have better matchups around the map instead. Quite a few of the carry matchups nowadays are okay. Like you can lane against most stuff with Kunkka if you know what you're doing in that offlane. So
yeah, the thing I like about the way they picked it though is a lot of times we see, not always, but a mid lane Kunkka, it's like a crowd control tank. That's typically an offlaner.
yeah,
So if you're going to pick that mid, your offlaner feels like it needs to be something that can
do some damage.
Yeah, and I think Miero gets to do just that. Is Nightfall getting forced out for the time being. Actually levels his infest, and here comes the Chrono as Skeeter comes in from the south, swash from Malrine. Spear connects, and that is enough. Nightfall taken out. Snake King getting pursued in the trees. This should be a kill.
Dire's
So
top
not
tower
a
is under
great
attack.
trade for BetBoom, but they are pressuring this tier 1 quite a bit.
And they should be able to hold their own bottom. Already have Toronto, Tokyo rotating over on the Phoenix. So all in all, honestly, a fine trade for them. Losing the lifesteal obviously sucks, but got to keep in mind how much Falcons need to invest in kills like that. I don't think they're going to find Toronto here. They might have been thinking about it, but it's just not really possible.
Oh dear.
All right, well,
GPK with the kill.
well, now it definitely wasn't worth it. 'Cause
Yeah.
now you traded the carries as well.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Look at Miero, he's got the troll. So a lot of these Skelly boys will be hitting the tower, and that rally is no joke. Eventually it will hit the tower, and that's no joke.
Dire's top tower
Look at these
is
things,
under
so
attack.
strong and buff. Good to see some of Summon Heroes back, though, I have to say. They kind of taken out of the limelight. I think a little bit here and there is good. You don't want, I mean, except for Broodmother.
Radiant's middle
Okay.
Oh
tower
yeah,
I don't
okay.
want-
As long as we can bond over that, fine. Like just
Does
Summon Heroes are one thing. Just keep Brood out of
does
it.
Arc Warden count as a Summon Hero?
It's okay. It's fine.
I don't like that one. Yeah, Lycan's cool. You know, runs into Snake King, but they won't be able to connect on anything. Still 3 leaps there.
I think runs is a bit of an exaggeration. Cautiously waddles.
Yep.
That's what
Very
Lycan is
slow.
doing without his ult. A very unique part about this hero, doesn't have to buy boots. There's very few heroes in Dota that can bypass that item. Basically, Lycan, Io, and sometimes Weaver, I think, are my list of heroes that can skip. I'm Monkey King, I guess, support.
Yep.
And what that does is, if you are farming well, your key big item timing will be 2 minutes ahead of the enemy. So by bypassing the boots, you're going to have this Helm of the Overlord at 1.5 minutes, maybe, let's call it that, earlier. And that can make quite a big difference. Getting these key items that bit earlier can make them seem quite overwhelmingly overpowered at the time, actually. Well, Miero is still on good pace. The death obviously sucks, but still approaching a quite healthy timing on that
Yeah,
Overlord.
there's smoke here. And of course, the Wolves are following
Dire
support
are
on the
scanning.
Falcon side, so just the patrol.
Shadows.
They will be spotted by the tower eventually. But just the fact that this is a possibility, just such an annoyance for Falcons. They have to have sentries up, and if they don't, then maybe they're being followed. Right, the vision game is, especially at this level, can be the difference between a win and a loss.
It's still probably an undervalued part of the game from commentary and from observing just how much vision matters. And I think we're doing a better job than we were 1 or 2 years ago trying to illustrate how much vision does. But obviously, it's kind of crazy when you look at how well these players play and then you stop for a moment and realize, oh right, they don't even see everything that we do and they're still playing it like they did.
Yeah,
It's actually quite incredible. And I think it can be very educational for viewers at home to try to watch pro games with one team's fog of war and then with the other. Like if you're trying to improve and understand some of the movements that are going on and what information teams have access to.
Save. Impale and a finger. Very easy kill on Skeeter. That's death number 2 for him. And that's going to set him back. And this is a hero that, like we said, ramps up very slowly. So any kill you can get is just going to add insult to injury. And now a smoke from Falcons. It's Nightfall and GPK.
Shield Rune. Oh, they have Purge.
Yeah, Blade Mail's popped as well, as Malorine's going to get torrented. And now Nightfall and GPK kind of on the offensive, despite this being 2v4, but you can see the reinforcements are coming. Crit will get out. So no kills will come from this, but still.
It's kind of a non-move. It's weird. They walk into each other, they cast some spells, and then they leave. The good old, what's that from The Simpsons? Who is it that walks into the saloon, spins one time, and then walks out again with his hat? Is that the grandpa?
Oh boy.
You know memes.
It's been a while.
Anyway.
Well, Mo is the bartender.
All right. All right, we're starting at ground one.
Barney is the Belcher. That's my favorite character in the show, as you might imagine.
Radiant structures
And that's it.
So I haven't watched that much. Correct me if I'm wrong. Homer's dad is in the show, right?
Yeah, the grandpa.
Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure it is him that walks into the saloon, spins for a round, whistles, and then takes his hat and leaves or something.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, we're getting a We're getting
Link
a nod
reveal
from
coming for Amar. He opted not to go for the Yule, so it is a change of pace. Nice spear onto the lifestealer, but where's the damage?
follow-up.
Absolutely none right now, as Nightfall's going to have to use his Infest on the egg itself as well. Can they kill the egg? It's going to be close. They do. Nightfall comes out. Now the focus is on Mallory, but he's going to get rebuked in the meantime. Nice armlet toggle, staying alive. They're not going to finish him off. Has a Shadow Poison applied. Still not enough. Nightfall survives because of the boat. It's a big, juicy right click from GPK. Helps him develop that double kill. And Amar on the sidelines. It was definitely a good initiation. They just had zero follow-up initially.
Exactly. Nightfall was extremely vulnerable there. I think you could argue it was a mistake from him to even be put in that position, but Falcons weren't ready to follow through on Amar's go. Might get saved here for their troubles.
Yep, eventually, he will die.
To Amar. But yeah, it really looked like Nightfall was just going to get burst there. If there's any extra core ready to get the damage out immediately, I think you just clean up there on the lifestealer kill and defend. But if you give, that's the thing about this hero. I think that's part of it. Its strength is you see Malreen's TPing in here and it's too late with the swash. Big part of this hero's strength is the amount of effort you need to put into killing it and the punishment if you fail. Like with a lot of other carriers in Dota, if you don't kill them 100-0, you force them out of the fight at least.
That armlet toggle.
Lifestealer just resets. You know, if you don't kill him, it's wasted damage. He's going to infest something, come out with more health. He's going to turn on you with the armlet on and the rage and actually fight back. If you would have done what they did to a Sven, I mean, sure, maybe he lives and has to run. The Lifestealer got to output the, you know, a really high amount of damage there, and while you're killing him, he's also dealing damage with the Radiance.
Yeah.
So plenty of problems. Now, honestly, this is scary for Falcons because now Miero's online too. We haven't really seen too much of the Lycan just yet. But the map is going to start being terrifying. There's going to be wolves scouting you. The Lycan can connect with any of this. I mean, especially the Lion, I feel like has a lot to do, but Lion or Kunkka can offer so much time for Lycan to just do damage during their long duration stuns and catches. You got to be very wise now for Falcons with how you move your resources around the map. And at the same time, you also need to make sure you don't get out farmed. This is when it gets difficult because you need to choose, you need to pick your poison. Are we going to group up a bit more so we're less vulnerable but then find less farm? Or are we going to spread? Oh no, they found skiter again.
Skiter, you cannot die again, and Pale is there. There's a disruption save for the time being. Skiter will come back out. The Phoenix is dead. Nice chrono on top of basically everyone, including his own team. Skiter gets fingered, but time walks most of the damage off. 2 dead for Bet Boom. And Snake King looking to get chased. Miero will get that kill at the very least. GPK totally out of mana right now. Rebuke into the spear, but no connection onto the trees. But the swash is there to finish the job. Now Amar with a TP attempt, and he is out. So Falcon get away with murder.
Has been killed.
That was such a good result for them. This time around, Crit was nearby, saving Skiter with the disruption and turning everything around in this instance. It was crucial. We've talked about his Shadow Demon. Right place, right time. Almost every single time, and this is the perfect showcase of what that hero can do with a well-placed and well-timed disruption. They save Skiter, he gets a chrono, and he survives the follow-up part of that fight, so that's a big part of the lead cut down now by Falcons, and keep in mind their supports are starting to make some distance here. Save is not particularly rich, so they're starting to offset him a bit with some utility items.
But Toronto, Tokyo did buy a Midas.
Yeah, going for that late game, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the best support in Dota to buy Midas.
Oh yeah, 100%. Save gets destroyed. I mean, that hero with items is absurd.
Yeah.
Shivas, natural ags, something to that effect. If you really want to get cheeky, Radiance, but of course Lifestealer has one already, so no need.
For me, the biggest part of Midas and Phoenix is actually about the levels, more so than the gold.
No, it's the gold.
Getting level 18 on this hero is massive. I mean, obviously you want the items too, but Phoenix is a very special support in how insane impact it can have. Let's say it has 0 items in its level 18. Is there a better support in the game? If you just cast your spells on level 18 Phoenix versus any other support,
yeah, it does. I mean,
ridiculous amounts of damage
level 3
control.
egg, generally people won't even try to kill it. Right?
They need to tailor their line to do it, basically. Oh, Light Collector for Amar!
There you go. Good job.
Okay, thank you, Shannon. Thanks for the coverage.
Man, you've been really slacking today.
Yeah, I didn't notice it. Not Light Collector for save.
You can see Amar is going for the build, by the way. So BKB next, and it's going to be the Broach into Divine. So that's where they're going to get their damage, Cinderin. No more Yule's Aetherland.
Yeah, this last game was a mess. It's time to chatted up on the Mars. I mean, look at the hero.
Yes.
This hero does not buy Aetherlens. Look what it looks like.
I mean, he's won some games with Aetherlens.
He's a walking mugshot. This guy buys damage.
He's got a major overbite, doesn't he? Or is that an underbite? I always get them mixed up.
He's got some bite.
He's got some real issues. It's a beard without a mustache. Like, you have to be insane to go for that. Actually, it's so stupid.
Yeah, why would you pick this hero?
Shout out to all the people out there with a beard and no mustache.
It's okay as long as you have an overbite. You complete the look.
That's right. As the axe is picked up by GPK, so the Torrent Storm is there. And Nightfall finishing the... Well, does he have yacht? No. It's just a Sage for now is what he's going for?
Yeah. Standard.
Not, well,
Standard
typically
order.
you go S and Y.
Oh yeah, but it's just standard order to buy the Sange first, right? I guess he's keeping his options open, but
Radiant's
I don't
top
really
tower
see a
is under
reason to buy
attack.
Halberd this game. I think it's too difficult to pull it off.
Yeah, you're not gonna... I mean, the evasion won't come through with Amar and his Rebuke Divine Rapier build.
And you also need to be able to Halberd the Void for it to make sense.
Dire's middle
So.
tower is under attack.
It's a cheeky play.
Yep. Gonna steal the Tormentor and then try to get the Wisdom afterwards in 20 seconds, potentially. It's quite the slow Tormentor, and they're taking a beating, but they will do it. Save gets the Shard, and he will TP over to his own Tormentor. They're actually abandoning this one.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna maybe stick around with one hero, but I guess they'll deny it with the Lycan Wolves. So,
yeah.
at the very least...
Radiant's
Oh,
middle
they're even
tower is
TPing
under
for it.
attack.
Oh,
he's not paying attention.
no, micro crit. He's gonna get seen. He's gonna get destroyed.
I guess Miero was busy over
Yeah,
here.
he saw a hero and he got really excited. The second Tormentor will come out. Oh, Toronto Tokyo! Not again!
Shard for Lycan.
The Tormentor continues its reign of terror on this tournament. Yeah, Miero Shard, so the Wolves will be part of a wave at every step of the way. Even Save almost died there too.
Is under attack.
So now they have the Lycan Shard, they have the Lion Shard, and Phoenix Shard. And Phoenix Shard is probably top 10 in the game. Best shards.
Just kind of buy it.
S tier.
You don't wait 10 minutes for that one. You have a Midas.
Oh, he has it already.
Oh, did he buy it already?
I'm saying those are the three heroes that have Shard.
I see, okay.
Radiant's bottom
Yeah, the
tower
Lycan one's
is
going to add
under attack.
a little bit of extra pressure on the map. Don't think... I don't know. I feel like I've chronically underrated the Shard's impact.
Rage from
Got a
Nightfall.
Chrono here.
Radiant's bottom
Yep, the
tower
Chrono to
is
follow.
under attack.
And he's all alone. No infest for 7 seconds either. Even put the arena just in case. Nightfall gets taken out by crit of all heroes. The Rolling Thunder now, focusing on save, inhibit used to slow him. Is there any follow-up? Do they need follow-up? Shield crash? Just permastun basically, gets one hex before his demise.
It's kind of funny to think about that this hero was way better than this. Like, this hero used to be, I don't know, 20% better
Is under attack.
than it is now.
Well, the people
Absolute
were
monster.
also worse,
Yeah.
to be fair. Especially like early on. But it's a
Dire
cool
are
design.
Scanning.
One of the coolest designs in Dota for sure, but it really is hard to
Have you been on the receiving end of a
Radiant's top
permastun
tower
Rolling
is under
Thunder?
attack.
Yes.
Were you just sitting there like, wow, this is such a cool design,
Yes.
while he drove all over you?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm sure that was what you were thinking.
Radiant's top
Blinded by
tower
rage,
is
of
under
course not.
attack. Dire are
Miero,
scanning.
once he gets that BKB, he's going to have to worry a little bit less about the arena.
Lycans have recovered nicely. This
Yep.
looks like a very winnable game. I mean, keep in mind you're running a Faceless Void super carry here for the late game. You have very well scaling 4 and 5 supports. The Shadow Demon we've seen do truly game-winning plays 40 minutes in. You have all your comfort picks. You have a Mars that's this time around scaling in terms of damage, and the enemy mid hero will not, to say the least. This is a mid Kunkka who's going for the Torrent Storm route, which it can do good damage, but it's not quite in the same category as the Pango, in my opinion. All right, they're going to find Snay here.
Yeah,
Oh, they're missing the combo a bit.
he's still going to get X back. Finger deletes him.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
as he will pick up Greaves from the grave.
Yep. Guardian Graves.
Guardian Graves. Okay, into the pit, Betboom goes. And you can see on the mini-map, Falcons don't really have any response yet, so this might just be a freebie.
Radiant's top tower is under Radiant's top
If they could
tower.
delay them just a bit, then Roche would move top. Because this is not that fast. There's probably going to be like 10 seconds to spare at most here. With Lycan arriving this late, it's going to help. But yeah,
It's theirs.
timed it to a T. They'll get it down.
Roshan
10
has
seconds to
fallen
spare,
to the
so-
Radiant.
Interesting. So Amar originally was going for the build we were talking about, but now is switching up to the Orchid.
Huh.
So wants find some solo pickoffs.
He's had enough of Lion shit this game.
Oh,
Maybe it's for the Phoenix.
I mean, it could be
More so than the
Life
Lion?
Stealer even.
True.
Rage.
Yeah, true.
Well, we did see the BKB last game on the Life Stealer, so would assume after the SNY that is probably what Nightfall will go for.
Wouldn't mind it. Obviously, you're a little bit more stifled against Shadow Demon than other heroes, because even if you BKB, if you're Demonic Purged, you're not moving very much. Sticking on targets. Right, Rage still works.
Interesting.
Dire's
Getting a
middle
little bit of
tower
movement,
is
speed
under
efficiency to get to that camp, or to the bottom wave. This Moonlight Shadow not really being used for much. I'm not sure what the mindset was. Was he just warding and trying to grant safe passage?
So there's a gem on Amar with the Light Collector, of
Dire's
course.
bottom tower
Good combo.
is under attack.
Light Collector goes with anything. It's kind of like Guile's theme.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Yeah, that's fine.
Dire's
Shit.
middle
He'll get there
tower is
someday.
under attack.
Tier 2 tower is going to be a freebie for Betboom. Let's see how much they can get out of this Aegis. There's still a Tier 2 top and bottom. Still plenty of time to go for both, but obviously opposite sides of the map here.
Map is shrinking though for Falcons. They're starting to lose their tier 2s. They've taken they've taken 2 tier 1s themselves, yet to take the mid one. They've lost.
That means they're farming a little bit more efficiently, considering the tower advantages on Betboom, and the game is dead even net worth-wise.
Yeah, the problem is the game starts getting scarier and scarier when you lose map control against a hero like Lycan for this reason. Your heroes are going to start moving out in the map to try to find some sort of initiative, and the Wolves are just an added X factor in these situations. Save.
Yep, looking for the opening.
This is a
Dire's
difficult
bottom
go.
tower is under
We're gonna
attack.
infest him. I think Falcons make the right read that it's time to back out and not find anything.
The SNY is there, and oh, Aghanim's already for crit. That is super early. Holy crap.
Yeah. So now, 2 charges on the Demonic Purge against Lifestealer. I guess you just drop both of those on him back to back, right? There's
Yeah.
nothing else that you
I mean,
really need to purge, I think.
It breaks Feast as well, so that's even better.
True.
Safe still infested. Betboom want to use this Aegis in some capacity. Here, like you said, waddling across the map. His BKB's now
He's got boots now.
in his inventory. Oh, does he?
Yeah.
He looks so slow still.
He does have boots.
Yeah, it's because his creep is just always faster than it feels like.
Yeah.
Unless it's belching fire, of course.
That's true. It is faster than him.
And he's going to be going for the Axe next, so I'm very interested to see how that's going to work onto the Life Stealer as the Orchid and the Arrow on top of the Phoenix. Chronosphere is there, Finger of Death onto Amar. They take on Toronto Tokyo first. Amar is going to be the trade, though. On the bottom side, skiter focusing on save. Will get that easily as Nightfall trying to get support, but Snake King able to leap away. Both, though, reserved just for skiter. Tidal Wave on top. Actually makes it a little bit more awkward, but they do get the kill nonetheless. 3-4-2 with the buyback coming out from Save. And now this is the scary part when you're playing with a Lycan, or against a Lycan. You lose the fight this close. Mario onto the high ground they will attempt. And still the Aegis. Over a minute left. And there's no buybacks. I think this is just racks for Betboom.
Just liking things. That was honestly, it looked like a quite good fight for Falcons at one point there when they combined all their spells, but...
Save.
Okay.
That's the permastone on Tidal Wave back, but there's instruction from Crit. It's off the Demonic Purge as well. Are they actually going to be able to defend this? The Infest onto GPK. There's the arena from Amar. They're trying to focus down Save first. That's a dieback for him. And now you can see GPK with left no mana at all as Nightfall jumps out, begging them to go on him, but he still has the Aegis. They will continue to ignore. Now they're going to get illusions with Radiance of their own, as somehow Bedboom are forced out of the base. And now Falcons thought they were going to retreat here, but the Orchid from Miera is going to try to turn this around onto the Pango. There's going to be a lot of damage. The burn, not quite enough to take him out. Alreen is able to get out of dodge, and Miera will follow suit.
Nice heads-up play from Crit.
Great defense from Falcons.
I really think the Shadow Demon could benefit a lot from getting the shot. Okay, he is queuing it up now, because having that Orchid dispel could be quite massive in these fights. But yeah, they don't get the racks. They try to chase a little bit into the tier 4s instead of getting the buildings. They would have definitely got one lane, or at the very least the melee racks before they had to back out. They thought they could get more, and I understand it. You know, you get the X mark into Torrent combo, you could pull him back with the Tidal Wave, but the disruption breaks up the play very easily, and Bedboom at the end, when all said and done, don't really gain anything from this whole situation. I don't think that base tower is particularly important. The gold remains the same. Falcons still weathering the storm. This is a game that can, similar to the previous one, just later down the line, can swing in one fight. Like if Faceless Void finds one good team fight and they win it convincingly, then I don't think Falcons are going to be looking back at any point after that.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Bedboom going to be very cautious here about how they approach the next few minutes, as they don't have Aegis. And Falcons know that this is a power play time, so they will go for it. Bringing the chrono.
Into the Ogre. Miera on the high ground. Gonna spot this out, tries to get out his shapeshift. He does, but now he's getting perma-stun. Arrow's gonna connect. They're gonna try to surround him. They don't have the damage yet, though. As Nightfall gets the Infest off onto the Lycan. Bar with the BKB in retreat, it seems. You see the Lifestealer still inside. They're gonna try to turn this around onto Amar. He gets off the arena, but he dies right afterwards as the egg was placed. Mars Arena actually quite effective keeping them there. It looks like they wanted to chase.
Dire's top tower is under
For all that, 1 for 1.
This time Phoenix got its spells off. That's a really huge difference. They've been doing a really good job at shutting down Toronto Tokyo in a couple of these previous fights, Falcons, but that time they don't find him. And they go on the Lycan, who gets really good protection from his team. A difficult kill to begin with. You need to commit a lot of stuns, and well, all right. It was time for
Fuels. Oh, he actually dodges
time.
the arrow. And X onto Skeeter. Force him to try to retreat. Now the disruption on top of him. I'm not sure if Bedboom want to go high ground here.
Uncharacteristic mistimed arrow there from Snake King. Could have led to something bigger if they connect that one on the Phoenix.
This hero, though, we have seen it fall off quite a bit when it gets to the late game. Do you think that's still an issue for the hero, or
Radiant are scattered.
less so these days?
Yeah, I think it's...
I mean, some of your net worth is you're putting into Lifestealer, right, with the Wolf Bite.
It's definitely still a problem, especially given his matchups, right? The Faceless Void will always be a problem for Lycan. He's heavily reliant on mobility, and you can just freeze him in time. And the Mars Arena, even when you have BKB, eventually Mars is going to get some refresher, something's going to happen, you're going to get hexed. So I would definitely say we're around the time of the game that Lycan, for the most part, peaks. It'll be interesting to see how Bedboom play around this. Like, if this Axe timing is now, it's just flat-out go time, and they're going to force something to happen. But imagine they still want to get at least one more Aegis before they plan to siege bottom.
Oh, the instant hex from Save, impaled with the Disruption Save onto Skeeter, as a Rolling Thunder being used to take out the line, but the Torrent connects onto the Void, and he's dead! Beautiful timing. The Disruption sets it up, actually. And now Falcons on the run. Miera in that wolf form with the Orchid as well. Does he have the damage? Oh my god, no. The Greaves come out at the last moment in the base for Snake King.
He did not want to BKB out of that disruption, and I understand why. Like, a lot of the stuff had already been used from Bedboom. They killed the Lion. Kind of just want to time walk away, but the Torrent from the Torrent Storm was perfect. He just died.
From the Torrent Storm?
He died in a chain stun that his Shadow Demon was a part of.
Yeah.
Actually.
I mean, that's a combo we've seen from when they're on the same team, right?
Ah, the good old times. Don't remind me. Shadow Demon, Kunkka double roam. God, I loved that time.
Kunkka as a support should not be a thing.
It absolutely should, more than Terrorblade.
Okay, well that's true. Roche is up in a minute. So Falcons won't truly get punished for this. Not as hard as they could have been, that's for sure. I think the Aegis is pretty damn important for Betboom because they're not necessarily on a timer per se, but they do want to get these buildings. They want the building advantage, and they kind of messed it up earlier when they could have gotten racks, but dove. Imagine if they were up a set of racks right now in the bot lane.
Definitely be a lot easier, especially you're playing with Lycan, right? So this blood push is extra dangerous. There's going to be wolves on some of the extra creep waves and stuff, so this gives that little bit less time. The enemy team, X mark.
Radiant's middle tower.
Movement of mission. They are going to swap sides, knowing that Roshan will be fought for in the top half now.
They're close by. Arrow is going to provide some vision. Actually hits the lifesteal. Rebuke to follow. Gets the chrono on everyone else. The Phoenix is dead first. Rolling Thunder right on top of that chronosphere. As Nightfall trying to do damage. He's going to get Wolf Bit as well. Out of mana, pops the BKB now. Finally, somebody dies on Falcon's side. He does have buyback Amar. As skiter goes in and out. Nightfall has the open wounds onto skiter. He's going to get impaled. Do they have the damage to finish the job? Mira's going to get to the other side and try to do just that, but the Phoenix End comes through. Mallory doesn't have the right clicks to take that out. And the Void will survive. Now Miero, he's going to be spotted. Does get out in time. Toronto Tokyo dodges the arrow, but has no escape. The Yules just delays the inevitable. So Falcons, wow. I actually can't believe the fight went that way. That could have gone 3 different scenarios.
I was going to say, if Falcons don't win a fight like that, what fight can they possibly win? They arrow the carry, they get a 4-man rebuke into 3-man chrono. I guess they layered their arena a little bit awkwardly here, but come on, like this is still super good.
Radiant are scanning.
The heroes are just so tanky. If GPK gets off the Torrent Storm here, this could have changed everything, but he only got off the boat.
Saves infested. Roche is low. Is he actually going to go for this?
Trying to get vision.
He actually goes in. Nightfall takes the Aegis. He gets the Aegis. Malrine with the Rolling Thunder in the pit, focusing on save for now. And it's Crit getting gone on by the Lycan and the Lifestealer. He will drop as a result, but now skiter on top of Nightfall. The Torrent Storm is there as the Kunkka finally arrives. Amar with the arena on top of all of them, though. They're going to lose the Kunkka as a result. And now Miero left with Nightfall. The gem drops to the deck as well, as these 2 cores need to get the hell out. Miero with the BKB, he's going to get Bash, attempting the TP.
First hit Bash.
First hit Bash is there, and he will die. So an incredible steal from Betboom, but they still lose basically everyone.
Yeah, and they lose the Aegis. If they would have somehow maintained the Aegis, you could argue that would be worth a few thousand gold, but the follow-up in that fight, honestly kind of crazy. It's hard to keep track of everything that's happening, but like just clutch save from Crit. And Amar comes back in with a huge arena, and he's really doing damage this game. You can tell the difference. And he doesn't really have a damage build, but the Orchid and the type of fights that they're taking, probably really happy right now. He didn't buy Aetherlands. Gonna go back down. I mean, this is honestly, these fights, it's tooth and nail. It's very little things that can change absolutely everything. And Falcons keep calm when it's the most important. And stabilize the game one more time. And sure, you don't have the Aegis, but I think this is more than good enough.
Yeah.
You just need to outlast this Lycan spike, and you're doing it just now.
Oh, Malrine gets caught off guard here. The Rolling Thunder, and the Bash comes through for Nightfall. Making use of the Basher here. Otherwise, I think, I mean, for sure, Malrine gets away. So that ends up being a nice kill for Betboom overall.
That's a big find. They have 80 seconds, 5v4. Malrine not happy about that. Nerf Basher, says.
skiter does finish his butterfly. So now this is the point where that Faceless Void is going to start to hurt quite a bit. We'll see how this Lifestealer, Mr. Nightfall, can match up against him. To get chronoed, I think with one more item, a chrono is just the death.
Oh!
Crit gets out.
They saw him with the wolf, and I thought for a second he might catch up there on the lion, but cooldown on the Ogre Seal Totem, I believe, prevented him from getting there just in time. And that would have been a big kill too. Crit with a 6-minute buyback cooldown. I honestly think this is the kind of game where if you kill the Shadow Demon, you can force high ground. It feels like the disruption is just that important. that him not having buyback means you can force a 5v4 in the enemy base. Crit gets out. No time to spare. Needs to not die to the Tormentor. Okay, we're good.
Good start.
Namar reaps the reward of the double spear. Oh, imagine. Well, two-man spear. Double spear would be something.
Well, once he gets that refresher, sure.
Yep. And a lot of tier 4s coming out. So Trickster Cloak for Lycan, the Telescope on the Phoenix, and Crit finding the Ninja Gear on Shadow Demon. Quite nice to keep his distance and protect him from wolves. I actually think that's a really big part of this.
That's true.
When they're going to go for moves together, if he smokes himself, the wolves can't find him to get the Orchid opportunity to, or the Blink Hex for that matter, inside of Bed Boom. And skiter gets a Mindbreaker, the best tier 4 neutral in Faceless Void. Attack speed is amazing. Get more bashes and you get that.
I would say Pango
nice
as well.
Silence too.
That's the best neutral item for Pango in general.
Yeah.
Not just the silence, but makes the swash just do more damage inherently. Incredible. Now they have a lot of damage to go along with that Chronosphere. And the question is, with this Butterfly, does Nightfall... Looks like he's going for the Abyssal, but does he need to go MKB at some point? Doesn't feel great to do that, but Void is going to be an issue.
Yeah, you wonder if the approach you take in this game is to kill his team.
Yeah, maybe, and then you can just focus on Miero getting the Bloodthorn.
Yeah. He's going AC for now, though. Wonder if he's going to change his mind, but seems quite committed to the idea, at least.
Ooh, bounty!
Actually, he bought the Bloodthorn recipe for Miero.
Oh, he changed.
So he's actually changing.
He is getting it. All right.
Listening to the cast. Good job.
If they were listening to the cast, we would have not seen a banner placed in the last week. So they don't.
Yeah. It's true. We haven't seen a single banner this series.
Yeah. Some nighttime road.
I'm sure the viewers are very happy about that. So we don't have to talk about that.
We still find a way to talk about it.
That's true. The fact that it's missing is just...
Strong timing for Bet Boom. They smoke up with their newly picked up Bloodthorn.
Who gets the opener? Skiter. Oh, that Chrono.
Radiant's
Oh, save's gonna break.
Right, Malrine with his ult to follow. Amar goes in deep with the BKB. Not really finding a good connection, though. Get the break onto the lifestealer for now. He uses the Abyssal Blade. The Torrent is there with the disruption save onto Amar. Now the focus for Skiter. Looks like Nightfall's gonna be able to get out here. Nightfall would try to infest onto a teammate. He does eventually take out Amar. The Chronosphere hits one hero. Not the greatest target. Finger of death onto Skeeter's gonna time walk it all off, but now Nightfall is on the run. Basher there, Bloodthorn on top. Tidal Wave brings him to his knees. 90 seconds with no Faceless Void, and Malrine now X'd back into the fray. Stuck on the low ground though, attempting to TP out. Very ambitious play, had no other way to get out. And that is another core dead for Falcons. And they only lose Toronto-Tokyo. And this is where they have to get racks.
Oh, yeah, I mean, surely. The only hero that can buy back on the side of Falcons is Mars, and he does not stop them at all. This is the kind of situation where they could just end, I think. Yeah. They might just go for it. They might try to poke the tier 4s and be like, hey, do you guys actually have buybacks on your other cores?
Yeah, that's one buyback.
They don't have to be scared of Chrono. I actually think Nightfall could really start knocking on the tier 4s, but...
Play it safe.
He'll opt for the potential
I can't blame him here.
Ah, of course not.
So many times we've watched Bet Boom in scenarios like this, and they drop the ball. They want to get to the grand finals here. So this is going to be minimum 2 sets, and there's no tier 2 tower bottom, so there's nothing stopping them from trying to go for Megas. Now that I say that, though, the Pango has buyback. Crit picks up the bounty rune to ensure it.
I mean, there isn't even a range Rex down here.
And there's the buybacks. Oh, that's true. It's just one barracks. It's Nightfall. We'll try to take it out. Swash not even going to hit. 15 seconds on the Void.
The waves have been cut. So.
They're going to back away. Snaking in that Moonlight Shadow. Amar going in. Oh my god, save gets destroyed. GPK has to use his BKB and run away. As Malrine able to find a connection onto Nightfall for now, but he just rages and runs away. GPK is going to have to use his bow, but attempting to TP out. Do they have? Yeah, they have the stun there. So at the very least, Falcons will get something, but we can see both heroes with buyback if they want to try to force the issue. but only one single barrack remains.
I don't think you can say that in singular.
Single barrack.
Unless you're talking about the ex-president of the United States. And you can.
Barack is up and running. One more term.
Bet Boom say yes we can to defending the base. Oh. See what Falcons can get out of this. The mid-tier 2, definitely that. But I don't know if they're going to go any further than this. This feels risky, you know? They also have cooldowns and buybacks, but at the same time, maybe you'd kind of just have to go for the jugular. See how much you can get out of this.
That was the MKB, by the way, on the Courier, so Nightfall will not have that for this fight. Full Demon Edge on there. High ground. This is the mid-rack. Look at their base. Their base is under attack.
Yeah, you're going to force them back with a split, so they don't get more than a side, but this game, dare we say it's almost 50-50, despite them having 1 melee Rex left against Lycan. We're approaching.
Oh, Miero spotted. Still in that Lycan form. Will pop his BKB. Demonic Purge not going to slow him down yet.
I have the vision
Still has
from
plenty of time with that
Lycan
Lycan throw form, so he'll be able to connect with his team in the end. Very intense game, I have to say. Imagine if they got that bottom racks earlier.
Actually,
this would be megas.
Yeah, you're right. The earlier push, everything in a game of Dota is just... It's snowbally. It always was, it always will be, and decisions you made 20 minutes ago might not seem like the biggest of deals, but obviously could have made a big difference here. Now this is going to be about the Roche, so yes. 5 seconds here until we'll see the respawn.
They spot the wolves. Save is infested.
If Bet Boom keep their calm a little bit here and just scout the Roche, it should eventually be theirs from just wave pressure. Not only do they have 2.5 barracks, they have the Lycan Shard, they can use his wolves to push with as well, they have his Dom creep. They just need to check the pit, and they're not doing it right now.
Yeah, they could always send a wolf.
They have plenty of ways of scouting the pit, just not happening yet. Looks like now Toronto Tokyo will be demoted to less than a wolf. Nope. Yes, he will scout the pit.
They're making their way over there, and this is Aghanim Scepter or someone. I would assume
Falcons are going straight down mid. They're trying to force them to defend their base instead.
Okay. Is it going to be enough to force them?
They're smoked.
They see them, and here comes the open wounds onto Roche. Aegis, Cheese, and Ags as skiter shows up on the doorstep. Does Bet Boom want to give up a set of racks? They're going to fortify, so this is going to delay things a decent amount. But once that's out, it's going to be free reign on these buildings. So it is Aegis, it is Cheese, and Ags. Which we'll see who they put it on here.
Ooh, they don't even lose a melee. Yeah. This is a very good trade for Bet Boom this late in the game. This Roche is exceptionally valuable. The Cheese on GPK is huge too. We've seen how long it takes Falcons to kill him. As long as he gets the boat off, this Cheese is likely getting maximum value in the fight. Where was that supernova? Did he?
Oh, you're right.
Did he just supernova in the fountain?
Huh.
Maybe they really wanted daytime. He was trying to give them vision.
That's next level. That is. All right, they hand over the Aghanim Scepter to Nightfall, and he's still waiting for the MKB on his Courier, and he is basically at max output once he gets this. So can infest into enemies. Disarm Void. I mean, the disarm's not going to be probably that effective this game. We'll see.
It depends on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, the chrono is... It timed that perfectly to be able to do it that way. As Miero, shapeshift.
They find Amar.
He's on the high ground. Finger of death on him. Nightfall coming to try to finish him off. Thatcher as well. Chrono comes out. Skiter is going to get Toronto Tokyo. He has buyback, though. Will TP as fast as he can. As Nightfall still getting bashed up by Skiter. And here comes Malrine rolling in. Aegis down. Miero still has the wolf bite. Nightfall not interested. He's going to infest save.
Wow, that is such an insanely good outcome for Falcons. They burned the Aegis and a buyback for nothing. They didn't even get a support kill on the side of Bet Boom there. Nightfall using the BKB on his first life, but still getting killed off. Doesn't feel confident to take the follow-up fight without one of the important items in his arsenal. And yeah, Falcons keep this very much alive with that play. And again, notice how much focus they've been putting on Phoenix all game. I really feel like Toronto Tokyo needs to have better positioning than this. He's bought a dagger for a reason. He should be super far behind everyone.
You think Eon Disc should be purchased by him?
I don't think that should be necessary. I think he's just, like, this is an uncharacteristically poor game from him, in my opinion, because he specifically itemized to solve a problem that he identified that he has, but then he's still not playing it that way. He needs, if his teammates are fighting, stand 2,000 range behind the fight and wait. Clearly, Falcons are waiting for you every single fight and are going to jump you. So what if you just do nothing? It's actually the best play is to just wait. And if they're suddenly going to open the fight on someone else, initiate on them, you just blink, egg, and sunray that person. And then you've had your impact.
Oh,
but
boy.
Instead, he's just dying. Oh, double refresher.
Well, it's technically triple because Amara's had his for a decent amount of time now.
Oh, baby.
This is
Falcon.
quite the reveal.
Falcons are powering up. The Faceless Void one, obviously the biggest one here on skiter. And he does have the Scotty, so the mana pool is there. This is approaching the kind of late game situation that we've seen time and time again. Lycan type heroes run into this wall now where you just need one fight, but you just can't win it, you know? I think it's getting so much harder with this Void Refresh, and Betboom should have been able to at least get the Megas before this point. Now it's getting spicy.
I mean, you could theoretically do a backdoor type deal, right? With the Lycan.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to accomplish.
Do you think Megas win there?
No, but
I don't think that's enough anymore.
Megas doesn't win it, but it makes it a lot harder for Falcons. We've seen, like, Megas isn't everything, but against certain lineups, it's really hard to push out constantly.
Yeah.
Like, that game we were casting, what was it, Spirit with PA in the base? Like, if they had even just one set of barracks, they win that game.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not going to say Megas don't matter. They definitely do, but also would be foolish to just consider it a done deal at that point. If you get Megas 51 minutes in against this kind of lineup, you're halfway there.
I mean, they have a hero that has Rage, so you can right-click buildings a little bit. Kite, Lycan, obviously, a lot of push potential. So, like, eventually, with those Megas, it could really help.
The Chrono's just the ultimate trump card, because you don't have a save.
Yeah.
So, unless the Phoenix somehow gets Aether Lens Ags and can protect you in the Chrono, you can always just Chrono and kill a core when the Void is big enough. Especially if Amar starts getting toward the damage items.
What's the range on Egg with Ags? Like, depending on how you position it, that'd be kind of close, right?
I think it's like, yeah, it's 500. And then if you get, obviously you can get Lens to extend it, right?
Yeah.
You can catch, or rather you can save people in Chrono anywhere inside it if you have, even without Lens, I think, but you might need to be a little bit tight. There's another refresher.
Yep, refresher game.
Now, this refresher does nothing unless Toronto Tokyo's positioning is tighter. He really needs to be sure to get off the first egg. So while this item looks extremely powerful, Falcons have really had his number this game. And if they continue to do so, then this item will change nothing. If he does get one good team fight, though, we have seen what late game refresher eggs can do.
What is save going for a nullifier? Goodness.
Yeah, he did that on Techies the other day, remember?
Yeah. So there are a couple Eon discs for Amar and Malrine specifically. Then there's the 4-step on Snake King. There's no Yules this time around. It's just funny to see that on Lion. I mean, this feels like a game that E-Blade might be the play, actually. That's a save for Chrono, theoretically. Then you force a nullifier onto the other side.
Yeah, I think at that point I would probably rather see a Wind Waker, because then you can also get people out of arena and stuff. Like, I mean, it's more expensive.
It is.
But, I mean, you're buying nullifier online, okay?
Well, there's a nullifier on Miro as well.
I don't know if they should do double. I kind of like the Wind Waker idea better.
Alright, so it's a wait for the next Roche for both sides.
Time to smoke to get some control. Key for Betboom is don't get Toronto Tokyo caught and make the fight chaotic. You don't want your heroes to stack and get chronoed or arena. You really need to split up. Use the fact that Lycan is super mobile and fast. Use the fact that your other cores are tanky. for the side of Falcons. Try to find some sort of entry into the fight that's pretty straightforward, where you don't commit big spells. Could just be a blink spear, or maybe just getting a demonic purge on the lifestealer just to buy time and get information. This is a crucial moment for both teams.
Pop, the X is there, and the Snake King actually uses his BKB. Imagine Snake King having a BKB at this stage of the game. Nightfall gonna focus on him at the start. Abyssal, but the Moonlight Shadow can provide some level of cover as Falcons now backs away temporarily. Rage now on cooldown. skiter, number 1 on the Chrono Tree. It's bashed, he's actually gonna get disarmed because of the Active Scepter. A beautiful investment, completely waste the first Chrono Sphere. Now turning his sights on him again as the Egg is inside the Chrono this time. The Egg does fall, but do they have the damage to actually finish the job? Nightfall now focusing everything on the skiter. The Mana Drain is there as well. Now Reed with the Rolling Thunder. It's Nightfall. You can see, he's gonna use the Nullifier onto skiter. He's gonna get hit up and stunned and destroyed. Does have the buyback available as Nightfall trying to chase down Crit. Is Amar running out of juice here. Mallory with the second Rolling Thunder of the game, and that's the buyback onto the skiter. And Lycan feels like he's triple impale comes out. As Amar pops his BKB, the spear is there, save dies. Their buildings are going down quite swiftly to these creeps, but now the lifestealer completely surrounded. Nightfall looks like he's eventually gonna fall as double kill for Amar comes out. Two players for Bethlehem side have buyback, but the Lycan and Phoenix do not.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
These mega extended fights are really favoring Falcons over time. The shapeshift runs out. They keep poking and prodding with their Pango. They keep poking and prodding with their Mars. And eventually they whittle the heroes down with enough time. The skiter buyback's obviously huge to have to use, but you'd imagine they get something going the other way here. Pushing out these waves, they did not lose the barracks, so not mega. It was just a tier 4 tower. With these 50 seconds they still have until enemy cores respawn, you can push out every single wave, place aggressive vision, and get Roche.
Yes.
So very good position to be in now for Falcons. At the same time, Betboom with a clear recipe for victory kills skiter and it's over.
Yeah.
But if he has the Aegis, how do you kill him twice with this lineup? And again, how do you protect your Egg? Once more, Toronto, Tokyo just gets shut out. And this time it was skiter soloing him.
Has fallen to the depths.
Aegis, Cheese, and
Radiant's
Ags.
bottom tower
And you
is under attack.
can't rely on that infest play, right? That was a really
That was absurd.
super clutch moment from Nightfall that is not necessarily going to happen again.
I didn't realize that the Infest disarms through BKB. Did
Yeah.
you? That is insane. I know you
Yeah.
can cast Infest, but
It does, yeah.
that is incredible. But yeah, that felt like a once in a game type thing. You're not going to get that opportunity in all likelihood in the future here. All right, so 17K lead for Falcons. Trying to push this to a game number 3 to decide who goes to the grand finals here at Dream League. Now you just wait. Well, I'm sure it's been enough time almost. Yeah, 18 seconds left on the refresher for skiter. And that'll essentially be go time.
Dude, Snaking's inventory.
Yeah, it does not look normal, does it?
Force Staff, Gleipnir, Greaves, BKB, Drum, Position 5 Marana. 25,000 net worth.
State of Dota.
He has the same net worth as the enemy team supports combined almost 60 minutes into the game. On the what has been losing side for the most part of the game.
Yeah.
Just ramping up.
Radiant
Finding that farm, he has 250 CS. The Lion has 26.
They scan. Bethlehem knows that Falcons are up there. They can hear their cry. They're ready to come back.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
58 minutes in. Case now by skiter. Infest bomb onto save. It's gonna get blinked over by Amar. Spear's gonna connect. The Lion's in a lot of trouble. Nightfall jumps out, gets the Abyssal Blade on the skiter, but now he's inside this arena. And somehow the Lion is surviving. Finally saved Falter. skiter gets the Chronosphere onto 2, but the Egg is gonna be placed. The skiter focuses all his efforts on just the Egg. Double Chrono ensures the death of Toronto, Tokyo. Road comes in. Amar's Eon this proc for the Sheep is now onto skiter as GPK. A nice impale comes out from save. As Nightfall not able to find the connection he's looking for. Mallory continuing to wreak havoc with that Rolling Thunder crit. Uses the cheese, it looks like, as Nightfall is trying to 1v1 him, but the disruption will delay. And now Nightfall has to run away. Save is dead. Just like that, only 3 alive for Betboom. The Infest onto
to skiter is not going to be enough, as he will continue to survive, still with that Aegis intact, by the way. And now the Demonic Purge to slow down the Lifestealer. And this looked like it might be the end of game number 2 here shortly, as Nightfall trying to get to his high ground, but he dies. Triple kill from Malrain. dota2 has to limp back to base, and now Falcons, with all the time in the world to get these buildings, but there are no creeps yet. That is actually quite the oversight here.
What an
Be a bit of a
absolute
delay.
late game masterclass, though. Everything in that fight from Falcons was borderline perfect. skiter gets 2 Chronos back-to-back. He kills off the Phoenix. Every time someone is in trouble, Crit is literally just waiting behind the fight, standing patiently waiting for something to happen and counterplaying it immediately. They get 2 great arenas. They kite out all of the spells off the enemy side and just winning the longest team fight I feel like we've seen in a very long time in this tournament. Just clean.
Fortification used. Bedboom, they only have 3. They're trying to delay things for Miero to come back. And Falcons looks like they are pushed back a bit, so not going for Throne this time.
Yeah.
We'll get the racks on the top side of the
Speaking
map.
of, don't lose track of your own ancient Falcons.
That's true. The tier 4 is taking heavy damage. Malrain is the one that has to fall back. So Falcons, thinking they might have had the win there, will have to back away. The tier 2 is still bought as well, so it's not like Mega Creep's really on the table. But this is a 44,000 net worth lead now for Falcons. This is an seemingly insurmountable lead as long as they have buybacks, which they have 4 of right now.
Yeah, they have a humongous advantage. Not just that, but the enemy team's buybacks are so far out, right? If you wait 2 more minutes, skiter will have his, so it's just a 1-minute window between this Aegis expiring and getting his 2nd life from the buyback. It's really hard at this point to find a way for Bedboom to structure a team fight that works. They're really trying to take some sort of initiative and catch, but Falcons are just so stupidly durable at this point. The Void is hard to kill, a disruption, that X factor in every fight. Magic Lamp on Faceless Void.
Wants to survive.
Seen it all.
That's all he cares about.
A lot more help.
He's going to find Miero on the top side of the map.
He doesn't have buy.
Goes to his own base inside the arena. He will use his ult to get away along with the BKB.
Trying to bash him.
Arrow not going to hit. As Malrain finding more connections into the base there. The Chronosphere comes out and Miero looks like he might actually be dead. Indeed, that is the case. Invest is used offensively as Nightfall will have to be pushed back. All I think they can go on here is the Torrent Storm already expended from GPK. Falcons still looking for a potential connection here. Gnar with a nice spear out. As GPK has to pop his BKB. So they're forcing out all these important items from the side of Bedboom. As skiter goes in and out. Now the arena plays from Amar, but they're going to disengage for the time being.
They still have a Chrono. And they didn't use it.
Gets 1 tier 4 to his name. Got this 2nd Chrono ready to go.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Snake King able to outrange the tower at this point. Impale. Gonna delay a bit, but still 45 seconds without this Lycan. Another in and out. It's gonna force out the rage from Nightfall. He's gonna get bashed up by the Swashbuckle. He gets a bash and toe onto skiter, but he's just focusing on the towers now. Torrent Storm is there. Rolling Thunder to create some space. Nightfall, another offensive usage of his ult. But the disruption is there. Nightfall actually jumps out of the disruption now. Uses the BKB. Now trying to put all of his efforts onto this Faceless Void. But the disruption again from Crit. As he has been so consistent all tournament long on that hero. As the rest of Falcons now focusing this Ancient. The Chrono is used. And the Ancient will explode in favor of Falcons surely. The delay from Bedboom had to not be enough, but Sunray coming out. Okay. skiter gets to the other side. That'll be the end of game number 2.